Two shadow ministers have stepped in on the campaign trail after opposition leader Anthony Albanese tested positive to COVID, visiting an ultra-marginal seat in Western Sydney. As senior political reporter Jonathan Lee reports, the party is now rolling out a COVID plan it says has been months in the making.
Labor's Plan B.
All right, well, the boss has got the bug, so you got me.
The opposition's dedicated campaign spokesperson, Jason Clare, called on to explain what Anthony Albanese's COVID diagnosis means for the party's prospects.
It means that you're going to see more of Albo's team right across the country.
We had war-gamed the process we set up so that people will come in and feel the appointments that I'd made. This is Australia and indeed the world in 2022, unfortunately.
The Labor campaign was briefly put on pause Friday morning before resuming again without the leader, heading to the nation's most marginal seat, Macquarie, in Sydney's northwest. Jason Clare joining the shadow finance minister and fellow campaign spokesperson Katie Gallagher beside gouged out farmland along the Hawkesbury River to inspect ongoing flood damage.
Yeah. So very nice to meet you. Share your story.
Yeah. On the day without the party's main man, there was no election pledges. Instead, calls for the state and federal governments to step in and fix the damage.
You know, if we're fortunate enough to win the election, let's fix it.
Yeah. There's no doubt the loss of the Labor leader has left an almighty hole. How the party plans to fill that in a tight election tussle remains to be seen. Scott Morrison wished his opponent well, but made clear there would be no temporary truce.
And so hopefully his symptoms won't be too bad, and I'm sure he'll keep on with the campaign, just as when I had COVID I kept on with the governing.
The sidelining of Mr Albanese does change Labor's campaign strategy, which until Wednesday night had been more presidential, happy to make polling day more about leadership. Now the party is putting out senior frontbench figures across the country.
You'll see Jason, you'll see Jim Chalmers, you'll see Katie Gallagher, Christina Keneally and of course our Deputy Richard Miles.
With a hope their new strategy, which it says has been months in the making, will allow voters to see things differently.
The more they see of Scott Morrison, the more they'll realise that this government has run out of pup.
I welcome the comparison between my team and the Labor team.
Anthony Albanese will still launch his campaign in Perth next weekend. In the meantime, those still standing will try to minimise the damage. Jonathan Lee, Sky News, Sydney.